Everyone out there that wants to venture into this, you have to be mentally prepared. Absolutely mentally prepared, yeah.
Is there a budget for Ozempic in this situation?
Look at me screaming like I am.
Welcome back to Kampala Mode. This is a space where we talk to all your fashion favorites, whether it's designers, stylists, models, and just get to know who they are, what they're about, and all things fashion. Today we have an amazing person, Joram. He's the star maker. If you see any models with the Ugandan tag anywhere, he's a person behind them most likely. Hi,
thank you. Hi. So good to see you.
Good to see you again.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. How have you been?
Very well, thank you. Yes, and thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I've been busy, honestly, like super busy. And it's that time of the year. Fashion Week is on. Yes. The girls have been globe-trotting the entire universe. They've been in New York. After New York, they had to go to London and then Milan. Milan is done. Now Paris starts today. Yeah.
Right.
So we've been all over the place, up and down.
This time we didn't go?
It's a very long story. Absolutely a long story. Because I've been attending literally most of these fashion weeks as well. Absolutely most of them. But then we've been launching so many girls this season. And we've also been working on so many girls here back at home. So the team needed me back at home so badly. Yeah. So they all agreed and say, Joram, you have to sacrifice and stay. Yeah.
There's a point where I thought you had moved to New York. You had left us behind. I was like, oh my God, he's living the New York dream.
That was another beautiful chapter of my life, but I would say I live in between Uganda and New York. Yeah, it is safe to say that for now.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your best part about New York?
My best part about New York is fashion. Absolutely fashion. It's one of the biggest capitals in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, their fashion is freedom. Fashion is it's a very big business. Unlike here at home, where people feel like it's a joke. A lot of people still think fashion here is a joke.
Right.
People feel like, kubanga tewa soma for you to be in the fashion industry, or literally emirimu jabula, and then you ended up in the fashion industry, which is totally different in New York. So that's the beat that I feel like New York is next level. Absolutely next level. Yeah.
And I feel like the personalities there are so larger than life.
Absolutely.
So I feel like you fit right.
To be honest, I felt at home all the time. I absolutely felt at home. So just imagine 100 Jorams in one place. That is New York.
Wow.
Yes.
You might need noise cancelling. Oh my God.
Not really, but the thing that I learned the most in that city is your personality is absolutely everything. Right. And to be honest, no one cares whether you're the best in your country, because let's be realistic, everyone in New York is great. Yeah. People are so good. Absolutely so good. So, every time you enter a room, you have to own it. You literally have to walk in like God sent you there. Yeah. And also being very outspoken, very outgoing, very open-minded as well, and also willing to learn. Because I feel like that's the biggest mistake that a lot of young people, make when they're trying to move to another city. They feel like, oh, you know what? I'm the best in my country. And then you go to another city and it humbles you to the fullest.
Yeah. Be like, I've arrived, I was the top, so you guys
there's nothing like arriving in New York.
Okay.
Because literally the best people here, if you go to New York, you're literally going to start again.
Right.
It's like starting from nursery again. Yeah.
Ooh, that's encouraging. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. What attracted you to the modeling world?
Passion. Absolutely passion. And to be honest, I feel like this has always been my calling ever since I was 6 years old. I say this the whole time. Imagine at the age of 6, I knew who Naomi Campbell was. Right. I knew who Tyra Banks was. I was the boy that used to watch a lot of fashion television as well. I used to, follow Vogue. As well at the age of 6. I know so many people are going to try to argue with me here, but let's be realistic. Me, I think it was destined to be. So it was passion. It was also the color for clothes, and also just seeing people walk up and down on the runway. It makes me very, very, very happy.
You've mentioned watching fashion shows and whatnot. What were you watching? Was it fashion TV?
I was watching. There was this show that used to happen a lot. it used to have like a lot of fashion in it. Those passions.
Fashion TV.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Fashion TV. Yes.
Later.
But then later on. But on fashion TV, it was usually the shows.
Yes.
It was usually the docuseries as well, the documentaries that were headlining the models of the 80s, the 90s, and then all that. Someone is about to ask me how old I am right now, but that is what I used to watch a lot. And then now also the series I used to watch a lot. Look at Passions, look at Riviera, look at Sunset Beach as well. There was so much fashion. And then Generations when we come here back in Africa.
Interesting. Okay. So I understand you tried to like pursue modeling yourself, and then that stumbled you into. First, tell us the story. Tell us how that happened.
Oh, so young me when I was very skinny, very thin. Because I used to be really thin and skinny. I wanted to be a model so bad, absolutely so bad. Because remember, growing up as a child, it was my dream. To me, I thought I was going to be the biggest thing in New York, in Paris, London, and Milan. I saw myself as the next Tyson Beckford, as the next, biggest supermodel from Uganda. Why? Because I used to follow Mnet Face of Africa as well. I used to follow Nokia Face of Africa, all those things that were happening back then. And I tried, but then it didn't work out for me. I went to all the biggest agencies in Uganda back then. There was Zypa Models for Sylvia Oi, there was Arapapa for Santa, there was Sketch, there was Divine. There were so many. I used to go for all these castings, absolutely all the castings, and they said no. They said no. Why? Because I was very thin, I was very skinny, and back then their definition of modeling was you had to be very buffed, really big, something like that. So they didn't take me, but I'm so grateful that all that rejection redirected me to become an agent instead.
That's so ironic that you were being rejected for that, and right now they are so hungry for like the slim male models.
But then who knows? I would have moved if the trends were like how they are right now, where they want like very slim, skinny boys. I mean, if it was happening 20 years ago, who knows? I would have been in Paris, London, Milan, and New York, and then the dreams of so many young girls here and young boys would never be happening. So God never makes mistakes. That's the one thing that I've learned. He doesn't. His timing is always perfect.
How do you not let the rejection get you down? Because I feel like that's one thing, especially like fashionistas, creatives in Uganda can relate to getting the door slammed in their face, getting ignored, getting told no multiple times. How do you not say, you know what, let me pack up and just like
and then
find an office job like my mom wants me to do?
That's a very beautiful question. But what I usually love to do is I speak to myself a lot. Absolutely a lot. And to be honest, I am my biggest fan. I am like my number one fan. Like how you're waiting for the world to tell you, oh my God, Neen, you're great. Neen, you're amazing. Neen, you're all these things. No, I tell all those things to myself. So every time I go for even like just meetings or, job interviews or all these castings or meeting people and they say no to me, I tell myself I am great. I constantly speak to myself the whole time. So I speak to myself a lot. And then self-care and self-love as well. Every time someone says no to me or, probably a girl misses a job or something like that, I'll go out and have a good meal and I'll feel much better. And then another thing that I do is that I pray a lot. I'm such a prayer warrior. Like, major prayer warrior. I pray the whole time. And, every time I pray, I feel so much better. And also the company that I have amazing, supportive friends. Same thing even with the team that I have at JMM. Very, very supportive, very listening. I'm that boss that is always like venting to, these girls that I work with. But then at the end of the day, it is you knowing that you have a very good support system, you believing in yourself, self-care, and then above all also praying, because rejection will always be there. Even the greatest models in the world, the greatest athletes, the greatest, name it all, they get rejected. So every time someone says no to you, just redirect it and channel it into becoming something better. You've talked about support systems. How was it like from like the family perspective? Because sometimes they're just like, do something serious, and like as you've said, the perception of like the fashion world here is like it's totally different. Absolutely. Okay, I come from a very big family. I always speak about my family the whole time, but then this time around I won't speak about them that much. Okay, but then I'm so grateful that when I was growing up, I had a very strong support supportive father until he passed away. And then also my big sister, Priscilla Muzira, shout outs to you. She supported me a lot. Absolutely a lot. I mean, she did Miss Uganda in 2002, so many years ago when I was still a toddler. So I grew up literally worshiping her, wanting to be like her, and then all that. So her seeing me do this, she's one of my biggest cheerleaders, number one support. So honestly, to the rest of the family members, right now the background is the background noise doesn't matter at all. Whether people say, "Oh my God," or "Natundaba Malaya," or "Nakurachi," or because some of them, that's their perception of modeling. They feel like, "Oh, you should have gone to school to do ABCD. You went to school, you graduated, you have your degree." But can you imagine? Why don't you get a proper job? But to be honest, I'm very happy. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing right now. I'm very happy doing what I do, my job, because it's very life-changing. It has changed the lives of so many young girls and boys out there. So to be honest, at this point, family is amazing, but with or without their support,
you still got it done.
We keep going.
Definitely. You've said something about that perception of Kutunda wa Malaya and whatnot. I don't know, is there some sort of like truth to like the statement that like, oh, the models will go to like these big cities and try and snag them, like, you know, a sponsor, a rich man or something like that? Does that ever happen? Or
I will speak from my own understanding. We manage professional models. We are one of the biggest mother agencies in the whole world, in Africa as well. So as mother agents, our job is to make sure that the girls are safe. Right from the time we discover them, to their training, to their development, to their grooming, to getting them get on those planes to work in Paris, London, New York, and Milan. Safety is number one. Professionalism is number two. Transparency, trustworthiness, and also making sure that their family, they're not just going out there to work. So we're always looking out for them, fighting for them, protecting them. But I mean, I've had nasty stories from other people out there, you know, whereby, because it's a very tough industry, let's be realistic, super tough. It comes back to you understanding who is real and who is fake. So that's where education comes in as well, to empower these young girls to understand that they are worth it, they're amazing, they are great, so no one is going to just come and then use them. That is why all these issues that we hear of, oh my God, the girls were trafficked, they went to the city and then, you know, they became sex slaves or something like that. It comes back to, you know, their mother agents as well. It comes back to their agents. It comes back to, you know, how do they even go there? And another thing that I would also love to tell young people out there, don't be desperate, because not all that glitters is gold. Let's be realistic. You have to know exactly who is the right person. Do your research. Don't just bump into people and feel like, oh my God, they're going to take me to New York, everything is, you know, gold or something like that. But I've had crazy stories. I definitely have.
I think there was recently that expose about models who are scouted from refugee camps and then they're taken there and then, you know, you work a season and then abandoned essentially. And so it's just...
It's a tough world. It's a very crazy competitive world, to be honest. But then it goes back to, you know, the mother agents as well. Mother agents out there, be alert. And also invest in developing the models, because it comes back to development, to be honest. For a model to understand that this is a business, you know, in every business there's highs and then there's lows. So it comes back to mother agents, to be honest.
So what happens when, let's say, a model has been successful for, you know, for quite a while and blah blah blah, and then for some reason, you know, they just don't connect, whether it's, you know, a new season, whether they're looking for something different. What happens then? Like, what happens when they're not booking as much?
Not booking as much. So like I said, modeling is a very competitive business. Absolutely competitive. We are living in an era whereby it's very hard for someone to be Naomi Campbell. Naomi has been working for like 35 years old. She's like 50 something, right? She's been working for the longest time. But for models to gain that longevity, it's not that easy. That is why part of our job here at JMM as mother agents, we always training these young girls to know that this is a business whereby at some point you're going to fade away. But then what else can you do other than modeling? So part of our developments, part of our empowerment initiatives that we usually do is to teach them how to thrive outside just walking the shows. For them to know that, after 2-3 seasons, 5 years, they're not booking me anymore. What else can I be? Can I be a stylist? Can I be an agent? Can I be a scout? Can I be a photographer? Can I be an editor? Something like that. So it comes back to the mother agents as well. Because we are the foundation, the grassroots of these young girls. So for them to understand that the business that you're getting into, you're not going to be the queen forever. You won't. Because let's be realistic, the lifespan of models right now, if you really last, like 10 years.
Right.
But 10 years, that's a working girl. A girl who's loved, a girl who has transitioned, a girl who's into acting, and then all those things. So it comes back to pivoting. Someone has to pivot. For them to know that after 3-4 years, they're not booking me anymore. What else can I do? You've met so many people. Imagine the stylists, the photographers, the editors, because the fashion world is very extensive. So you have to use those networks to become a better person. And then we also encourage them a lot to, go back to school. Financial literacy as well, to know that you're going to make crazy money, but after 5 years, if you blow that money on just Chanel bags, Miu Miu, Missoni, all those, expensive, luxurious goods, what do you have after 5 years? So we always prep them for life after it's all done.
So here I was assuming that the model boot camp, you're telling them, okay, walk like this, and then wear higher heels. And
no. Now let me tell you, the ladies that you see over there, Miss Swabra, let me send them shout-outs. Miss Irene and Miss Swabra, queens of development, absolute queens of development. Because it comes back, because a lot of people think it's just the covers, it's just the walks, but let me tell you, this is like real going back to school. As in school, where you're teaching someone about mental health, anxiety, depression, branding, how to carry themselves, how to be ladies, confidence, personality, self-esteem, absolutely a lot of things that they don't even teach us in school. So the walking beats and then the taking pictures, it's just like, it's like the cherry on top of the cake, because that's what the world sees. But then behind that successful model, there's a lot of work, a lot of development.
So let me ask, I think that really qualifies a lot of what they say when they call you a star maker.
Yes.
Is there space for in your boot camps for people who want to be stars but not necessarily models?
Absolutely, yes. So every time we do like these workshops, the different master classes that we usually do, we don't just target fashion models. I mean, there's pageant girls, there's actors, there's actresses, there's stylists, there's makeup artists, there's photographers, there's people that just want to be personalities as well. So the boot camps that we usually do are open to everyone. That is why we never say, oh, we're looking for someone who's 5'9" and above. We're looking for, those are casting calls, totally different casting calls. But then with the workshops, they're open to everyone, even the age groups as well. Literally our age groups start from like 12, 13, 10. We've had kids that are like 13, 14 that we still empower. So they're absolutely open to everyone. Because everyone needs these lessons. They're life-changing lessons.
Because you don't just come out there and you're like, oh, I've arrived and now I'm learning on the job. There's some jobs you cannot learn at.
No, trust me. No. With modeling, I would say sometimes naturally you have the face, right? You have the face, you do have the body. So they put you in front of the camera loves you. But then what happens after the issue of Vogue is out and then you have to do interviews? How are you conducting yourself? How are you even conducting yourself on social media? Do you know how to handle your social media accounts? Do you know how to network when we take you to the Met Gala and there's like all these big celebrities? So honestly, models out there, it's not just about the looks and then the physique and then that. It's much more than that. And you have to invest in learning as much as you can. I think one of the biggest stories, although not in the modeling world, of someone who got their big break and seems very prepared for it, I think is Tyler. Like, there's something about that girl. That's the management. Her management is insane. I'll call them like her mother agents. I don't really have mother agents in music. The one.
So I think it's like management
exactly, like her mother agent or her management agency. Trust me, they really prepped this girl. absolutely prepped, and that's what we do as well. So that by the time that girl is out there and she's being launched by YSL or whatever, Missoni, Prada, all those big campaigns, they know exactly what it means to get out to the world.
Because people keep looking for a moment to like catch her out, to try and cancel her.
Management is doing a very good job.
She's on it,
always on
every
point,
single time. I think that's really important.
It's very, very important. Absolutely.
Okay. Can we talk about the model world in Uganda? Yes. Like here, homegrown, campaigns, fashion shows, whatnot. I mean, I feel like you focus so much on taking the girls, international. So what happens next? What happens here? What are your thoughts?
Okay, modeling in Uganda is still a baby. Honestly, it's still a baby. We've had our grandmoms, we've had our godmothers. I call them godmothers in fashion. Silver Warriors, Santa Anzo. They played a very important role in making sure that the fashion industry in Uganda grows. Even A-brands, name it all. People that have really laid a strong brick and foundation to this industry. But then at the end of the day, it's also going to come back to, we don't have strict laws here that govern modeling agencies. We don't have councils that stand up for models and say, for someone to be booked for this, they have to be paid. We don't have people that fight for us.
You've reminded me of something. There's a show that I came to cover, and your models are the ones who are going to walk down. And I remember there was a discrepancy about the pay, and they're like, oh, we'll pay after. And you're like, girls, pack up, we're not going to walk, And for some reason, the funds were found and they were cleared before they walked. And I was like, this is so real, because we need people to advocate for these girls.
That's the thing, because to be honest, being a fashion model in Uganda, it's okay, people are going to hate me for this, but it's not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it. That is why it's very, very important that fashion models out there, you should have a goal, a big goal for you to know that, yes, I want to be a fashion model, but I want to use that platform to become a better person. I'm either going to venture out and turn into an actress, an actor, a booker, an agent, a photographer, something like that. You need to be multi-talented, but you can't just thrive on, oh my God, I'm a fashion model here. I mean, there's no fashion weeks. We don't have fashion weeks here. We don't have regular shows. We don't have magazines. We don't have Vogue. We don't have all these big, events that happen. That is why a lot of people keep asking me, but Joram, why is that all the girls that you guys get, you're just sending them to Paris, London, Milan, and New York? Let's be realistic. The only way you're going to work as a proper international fashion model, you need to go to the big fashion capitals of the world. That is why Uganda is training. It's like a training ground.
So let me ask, is there a space for training other, okay, that sounds weird, but other model managers, people who want to also scout, who also want to bring up the next crop of models? Because I see people here, I see them trying, I see them doing their thing. I wish they had the Joram touch, because you can tell the difference. There's a difference and there's a standard.
I know.
So I don't know how
it can be done. It definitely, we do in our workshops as well, because we've had girls, young boys that sign up for these workshops, and they end up becoming managers, they end up becoming artist managers, they end up working with record labels and then all that. So we're not very selfish with our knowledge, to be honest, because at the end of the day, we won't be here forever. We won't. We have to groom generations that will carry on the torch after us. But then at the end of the day, the biggest advice that I'm giving to all the young people out there is you have to be very patient. Because people feel like, oh, when I meet Joram today, I am going to be the next biggest show producer. I have to do ABCD. I'm going to take over. And at the end of the day, you don't know what Joram has gone through. You don't know the sacrifices he has gone through. You don't know the tears, the cries. So at the end of the day, people out there, it's very important for you to look up to people, but don't rush into things. Take your time to learn and then research as much as you can. And then at the end of the day, when people are mentoring you, don't end up fighting them. Do not end up becoming, like, oh my God, I want to take your job. Oh my God, I want to take, we can still work together, whether we are rivals or something like that. But then at the end of the day, it comes back to people acknowledging that it takes time, learn, but then it takes time.
I think that's important.
And don't be money-minded. Because that's the biggest problem that we have with a lot of people that are creating agencies right now. To them, they feel like, you know what, I'm going to create an agency. Girls, to register, pay 300,000. We've had all those stories. And I'm like, why are you even charging these young girls and young boys to register, to be models, when you don't even have a pool of clients for them? Because at the end of the day, if you're taking on someone's kid, if you're taking on someone to be a model, they are your talents. You have to invest in them so that when they make money, you can also make money. So to, model agents out there in Uganda, talent scouts and then all that, invest in the models. And to models out there, people that want to be models, never pay anything to join an agency. It's not worth it. And it's not right. It's absolutely not right. Unless somebody is paying for masterclasses, right? But then to join an agency, it's very, very wrong. So people here are very money-minded. They're very shallow-minded, that to them they feel like if I get 10 girls that each is paying 100,000, that's $1 million, I'm covered, And then you forget about the bigger picture. They're very, very short-sighted.
Okay. What does it take for someone to walk in that door and be like a yes, like someone who you just look at and you're like, this is the next girl? That's
the next girl. We're very, very particular. Absolutely particular. That is why people here in Uganda don't understand what we do up to now. They feel like, Abubagala Sudani, something like that. We even have clients that have branded our models ugly, to be honest, which is so sad and pathetic to say.
Crazy,
but then at the end of the day, we're very, very particular on the type of girl that we want. We always look for a girl that is going to be the biggest sensation in New York, Paris, London, Milan, because those are our biggest markets at the moment. As much as we work here in Uganda, but where we get our bread and butter is in those cities. So we're very, very particular. That is why for you to get that yes, you should walk in. And if Miss Swabber turns her head when you walk in, or Miss Irene, and then if I get off my computer to stare at you and start asking you hi, then there's something about you. But we always have so many people that walk in and you don't even have the energy to look at them. Not in a bad way, but because we're very, very particular on the type of girl that we want.
Is there anything that would turn a yes girl into a no?
Definitely. Character. We've had so many beautiful girls that walk in and they feel like, oh my God, I'm already in New York and Paris, London and Milan. And then I'm like, so what are you doing here? If you're great, you're supposed to be the other side. So character is number one. Of course, we teach them to be better in whatever they're doing. And then another thing that usually turns them into a no, sometimes it's also like family. If your family doesn't want you to do this, we don't go against them. Then education as well. Most of the models that we manage are in school, or most of the target group of models that we usually like, most of them are in school as well. So if we feel like someone is still in school, we're not going to force them to do this over and over. We'll still tell them, you know what, yes, you're 15, let's wait until you're 18, but we can still develop you slowly by slowly until you turn 18. Because most of the girls that you see here that are working internationally, we discovered most of them when they were like 15, 16, but then we develop for like 3 years until they're 18, 19 to launch them.
You've mentioned some of the girls, and like my eye has gone to Adit.
Adit, Priscilla, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday
to you.
Yes.
So tell me about her journey, for example, because she's one of the models I've seen who has blown up, and I'll stumble upon her while scrolling on high fashion Twitter, everywhere on Instagram. She's that girl.
She's amazing, absolutely amazing. Now let me tell you her story. So we discovered Adit in 2019. She was 16, she was 15, turning 16. But then when she walks in, first things first, this girl looked like Jennifer Hudson. Like, to me, when I saw her, I was like, oh my God, she looks like Jennifer Hudson. But then I remember when we started developing her, by the time we took her on, she was a little bit curved. She was not very curvy, but then her hip was like a 38, 39. And in the modeling world, usually they want the girls really skinny, like 34. So I remember after 2 weeks of development, I dropped her. It's insane. I absolutely dropped her because back then we would get like 10 girls and then we put them in a camp whereby we keep dropping every week. So until the last girl standing at the final week is the girl that we signed. That's why it was like a little mini competition, something like that. So after 2 weeks, I remember dropping Adit because she wasn't losing the weight. And then this girl told me, Joram, I'm going to go back, work on myself, and I promise you, I will come back. And I told her, Adit, I promise you, go work on yourself. When you get in shape, we will definitely sign you. So she goes on, works on herself. And then I get a call from Gloria Wavamono because they were doing Kampala Fashion Week 2019, the same year, later on in September. I get a call and then Gloria is like, oh, there's this amazing girl. I think you need to see her. I'm like, what's her name? And she said, Adit. I'm like, oh, I know this girl. I absolutely know this girl. But then I feel like she's not in shape. Together with Edward Semper, they used to do Kampala Fashion Week together. So Edward is like, there's this amazing girl, ABCD. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll come check her out. But I already know the girl. She's not in shape. And then they told me, you need to come and see the girl. The girl is in shape. I went for Kampala Fashion Week, and I remember she walked all the shows. Everyone booked her. Like for all the shows, everyone booked her. And I looked at this guy and I told her, Adit, I want you so bad. Like I want to sign you so bad. And she said, yeah. She was very excited. We signed her. And then immediately after signing her, we placed her with the international agencies in Paris, London, Milan, and New York. And this girl, in the very, very first year we launched her, she became a breakout star. She was on the hot list. Right now, she's among the top 50 models in the whole world. She's like the queen of the editorials. She's done all the biggest covers in the world, the biggest campaigns, and she's a money girl, an absolute money girl.
I've seen her and I saw that there's that Barbie moment.
Oh, the Zara Barbie
and I was
campaign.
Just like, oh,
she's amazing. She's stunning. And she wants it. And the beauty about this is to see how they evolve, how they morph into, bona fide supermodels as well. Because imagine from that little girl who wanted it to her, working on her shape as well, getting into shape, and now she's a world-class supermodel. It feels really good. Absolutely so good. I mean, I would be crying right now if I wasn't her mother agent. I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I rejected this girl. I did. But then that shows you that rejection is redirection. Us saying no to her, she knew that she has to go work on herself really, really hard. And she came back and look at her. So to the models out there, every time an agency says no because of your weight, I mean, you can work on yourself. And this is the perfect example.
What about Veronica? I think
Ayak, Veronica. We call her Baby Giraffe. That's a nickname because she's super tall. Ayak is very tall. She's like 6'1", So we discovered Ayak when she was 15 years old. Absolutely 15. I remember very well, 2017, we had a scouting tour at Moobs together with Iguana Kampala. So when we did that search, we hadn't seen any amazing girl. We saw like 1,000 girls, but then we hadn't seen an amazing girl. Because with me, an amazing girl is that girl that walks in and you get chills, and it's like love at first sight of like, oh my God, I found the next Naomi. So she walked in and I told everyone, let's close shop. That's the girl. We found the girl. So imagine after seeing so many campus students, all those campusers, and you don't take anyone, and then we found her. So that's how we found her. Then I remember shooting a campaign with Julio and Kona. And it went super viral when she was wearing that yellow turban and then the cute glasses, and every big artist was just reposting her. Alicia Keys, Tyrese. She went super viral. And actually that picture helped us a lot with our placements. Because after that, all the agencies were like, who's this girl? Who's this girl? Who's this girl? And that's how she ended up getting all these international placements.
I truly think that is the most popular or the most viral Ugandan fashion photo.
Absolutely.
I've seen it in
everywhere.
Random places.
Absolutely. People made art pieces out of it. It was in galleries, it was in paintings, it was everywhere. So that collaboration corner, we did it, and Julia, we absolutely did it.
It was amazing. This season, I've been seeing this girl, Achol Ayor. She's having a moment.
She's killing it. Major girl. And to be honest, like I say, this season we've been so busy, absolutely busy trying to launch new girls and then all those things. But then Achol, well done. We are so proud of you. Absolutely proud of you. Imagine the previous season, fall, winter, she worked 33 shows.
Whoa.
Right? And right now, I feel like she's even going to like surpass most of the shows that, she worked the last season. She's doing so well. absolutely really, really, really well. Yeah.
I love that Ferragamo moment.
Africa is now. Absolutely not. But it feels so good to see all these young girls that, you develop, you take time. Because even with her, it took time. She didn't blossom immediately. Yeah. I remember we scouted her when she was 16. She was 16. That is why I was telling you, most of these kids were really, we get them super early. And she was in school and her mother said, no, you're not going to do modeling. So when she walked in, she was 16, turning 17, we told her, Achol, go finish high school. When you're done with high school, the door is still wide open. And shockingly, at 18, when she was done with high school, she came back. Yeah. And she came back, we placed her, and then boom.
Oh, okay.
She's killing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. You used to scout male models as well. Why?
Yes. I know the boys are going to kill me right now. Let me tell you one thing. Male models never made us money at all. I'm being brutally honest. They didn't. So with us at JMM, it was a business decision. Yeah. Because we felt like we were pumping in money, injecting money, investing. But then at the end of the day, like any other business, when you keep investing in a business and you don't see money, you either close shop or you either say, let me change the strategy. It's the same thing like how, people love fur jackets and you keep bringing fur jackets. But then at some point, they don't like the fur jackets. You pivot. So honestly, with the boys, I'm not going to say we were not lucky. We were unlucky or something like that. We were very lucky because we had very good boys, absolutely great boys. But then fashion is predominantly female as well. You have to remember that. The biggest consumers are female, to be honest. That is why female models make more money than male models. So for us, it was a business decision. That is why we feel really, really sad because there's so many talented boys out there. There's so many boys that every time I'm just driving on the streets, I'm like, oh my God, that's a Prada exclusive. That's a YSL. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, it didn't work out the first time. So, but we tried it.
I saw one of the recent Louis Vuitton runways where it was like 60% black models. And I was just like, whoa. Like usually you're expecting like the token, the token.
They are no longer tokens. And maybe another thing that I would love to attribute that to is by the time we used to represent a lot of, black, whatever, we used to represent male models. They weren't booking them that much, to be honest. But things have changed over the years. 5 years later, male models are working. But before, it was like one male model dominating everything. If you aren't like Alton Mason, then you weren't going to get anything. So it was usually like Alton Mason, another boy. But then after 5 years, 6 years later, they're dominating everything. So who knows? Never say never. We might think about it, but not now. Not now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can we talk about your style? You are one of the most distinctive dressers.
Oh, yes.
How would you describe your style?
Very bold, flamboyant, and scared of blending in.
Okay.
Bold, flamboyant, and scared of blending in.
As you can see, he's dressed in all black, but the all black is... here, darling. I don't know.
Yes. But I love fashion. Like I said, ever since I was 6 years old, I used to like play dress up a lot. And I love playing dress up to now. But let's be realistic. I don't dress up like this every single day. Even when I'm coming to the agency, I don't dress up like this every single day. That is why I kept telling you, oh my God, Nene, you're very special. I mean, on a normal day, I'm just like in my sweatpants, my normal t-shirt, just normal jeans, moccasins, and then that's it. But then when it's events, TV appearances, all these other things, media tours, I love to show up. Because at the end of the day, there's certain seats you will get at the table simply because of the way you dress up. And that's the one thing that New York, Paris, London, Milan taught me the most. You will walk into any door if you stand up for, what they believe in, if you stand up for what you believe in as a person as well, if your personality is vibrant. But for your personality to also be vibrant, it goes back to how you dress up. There are people that have great personalities, but then you would never give them seats at a table simply because of the way they dress up.
What are some of your favorite brands to wear?
I'm so much into Buy Uganda, Build Uganda. So my favorite is Kai's Divo collection.
Period.
That's my Kai Juka Abbas. Period. I mean, the rest of the designers, our girls work for them.
Yeah.
So we've seen it all because they work for them. So now that the girls are working for all these big names in fashion, name any big brand in the world, the girls, you know, have worked for them. That is why now we are so much into buying Uganda, building Uganda.
Yeah, and I love that. I love the fact that even when you go to those places, and you're wearing usually,
I know that the funniest thing is that every time I'm out there, people think, oh my God, he's wearing Versace, he's wearing Givenchy, maybe it's, you know, Prada, it's YSL, it's, you know, all these other things, you know. No. Kai's Diva collection, I'm that very loyal.
Is there one of those bookings you made that you were just like, it has happened? I don't know, like I saw the Beyonce, the Secret thing, and I was just like, oh my, okay. But was it that? Was it, you know, Vogue? Is there one that really stands out for you and you're like, oh, this happened and I've arrived?
Honestly, for me, the girls have done a lot. They've absolutely done major campaigns, major jobs. But the jobs that have really stood out for me, the first one was when Adit booked the Chanel campaign. Major. As in major. I literally like passed out.
Yeah.
To be honest, like when the campaign, and the agents never told me that it's going to be a campaign.
Yeah.
Like for them, they just said, you know what, it's just going to be like a little editorial. It's just going to be something very small. Oh my God, they were surprising me. It was supposed to be like a huge surprise for the mother agent. And then afterwards, they told me, this is the campaign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was major. And then another one was, our girls have done all these big shows, but then it's been very hard to book the Prada show. Because Prada is like the mother of all shows. So this February, one of our girls, Achol Ayor, walked Prada. We even framed it for the wall.
Yeah.
We never frame all these other shows, Chanel, name it all the big shows that it's done. But then when she did Prada, I was screaming, I was yelling, I was very emotional. Because I've always wanted us to have a girl or girls that walk Prada. We've had so many of our girls always on option for Prada, but then they never get confirmed. So I would say the Prada show, and then the Chanel campaign. So all these other jobs that come in, we're very, very grateful, but those were really, really outstanding.
Was there ever one moment that was just like crushing, like the complete opposite of that?
We've had so many of those moments. So many of those moments. We do have a working girl. She won Elite Model Look. She works really well. She lost her passport. And her losing her passport, she comes from a country whereby up to now they're still waiting for, you know, passports to be processed. And she's been sitting at home for like 8 months right now. Wow. 6, 7, almost 8 months. Very crashing. Every top client wants this girl so bad. Absolutely so bad, you know? But we're still waiting. We've done our level best. We've done everything. But because of the country that she comes from, you know, the passport systems are down. Everything is done. And it's been on for a very long time. You know? So that has been like one of the most crushing moments that we've had. And then we also have moments whereby, you know, our girls are on option for like big jobs, but because of like weight, you know, they gain weight. Let's be realistic. These are women. These are young girls that morph into women. So sometimes, you know, the sizes do change. And before you know it, they're not booking them for the jobs. And then the other moment would be when you work so hard developing a young girl, getting them ready, and then before you know it, you know, they're not getting international representation as well. It's also very, very crushing. But we've learned how to deal with all this rejection as well. It's a very toxic industry at the end of the day. An industry whereby you're going to make a lot of money because of your body size. You're going to make a lot of money because of your body image. You're going to make a lot of money because of standards, something like that. And just like how people go to school to study to be lawyers, professors, engineers, those are the standards. We have to stick to the standards. So sometimes it's very, very, very hard for you as mother agents to tell a girl, oh, you're not going to do this season. Why? Because your hip is not at 34 years. And then the hip is just at 36. But she has to lose like 2 inches. But then they won't take her for a season. So it's a lot. Plus, it's also a business that you have to protect your mental health a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're not very strong, you can easily run mad. Absolutely run mad. Yeah.
I don't know how toxic this question is. Do you know some tips that can help someone to like shed a few inches in like, because of course there are those times when, you know, you're like, oh, you know, there are people who do different things. It's supplements, it's like this and this, and
walking out, eating healthy.
I mean, that's the ideal.
Yes.
But yeah.
Get on a juice diet. That's what all our models do. You just have to get on a juice diet. Juice.
Yeah.
When I say juice, you're not eating, but then you're drinking as much juice as you can. So you can decide and say, day 1, I'm doing lemon. Day 2, I'm doing melon. Day 3, I'm doing pineapple. Day 4, I'm doing, you know, maybe a shake. Day 5, like that. And you can survive. You can, because during Fashion Week, you have to be in shape.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely in shape. There's no questions about that.
I've had the diets that like Victoria's Secret models go on, and it was
insane.
Brutal.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I've watched that documentary as well, but I think it was Adriana or something like that, where she was saying that the week towards the show, I literally don't eat anything. I'm just going to be drinking. It's hard.
It's brutal, yeah.
It's very, very brutal.
She, like,
but then
gets in, racks in her bags, and then goes and...
That's it. That's the nature of the business. That is why to everyone out there that wants to venture into this, you have to be mentally prepared. Absolutely mentally prepared, yeah.
Is there a budget for Ozempic in this situation?
Look at me screaming like I am. Oh my God, that reminds me so much of the housewives when they were fighting Ayan, and then everybody's like, Ayan, you're on Ozempic. But let's be realistic. Is Ozempic in Uganda yet?
It is.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danger. Okay. Danger. Because I saw a lot of it in New York.
The girls are
on it. Pain. But I wouldn't advise people to get on it. Because I feel that's a tablet for people that are diabetic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like injections once a week. Yeah.
And then it works like a problem.
Ooh.
But for the models, we never encourage them to get on Ozempic. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. We do not.
Yeah.
We don't.
I mean, I had to ask. Yeah.
No, we don't. But I've had so many people that are using it. So many. Yeah. Absolutely so many. Would I get on Ozempic myself? No. Okay. I mean, I think. Yeah.
And I tried to embody it the last time when we did the cover shoot for you. But I think you give so much like Andre Leon Talley. In fact, if they had to do like a biopic for him,
it would be me.
It would be so dumb if they didn't choose you. Like you have that.
In New York, every time I would walk into any agency, any office, everyone would be like, "Oh my God, Jerry Man has so much of Andre."
Absolutely.
And then I would act down, but I would act like, "Huh? Who is he? But then at the back of my mind, I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe one day if they shoot like a movie, they could cast me.
They need to have you on their mood board.
Yes.
Actually, no, not just on the mood board. Casted in the scene.
We are speaking it into existence.
Absolutely. Yes. So what are your hopes for the fashion space, the modeling space in Uganda, beyond? Tell me something.
Honestly, my biggest hope for the fashion industry in Uganda is to see people work together a lot. And to see people collaborate more. Because to be honest, the reason as to why JMM has risen to the ranks that it is at right now, we've collaborated a lot with Ugandans, with East Africans, with Africans, and then with the international world. Because at the end of the day, you can't just make it as one person. You as one person, you can't. However great you are, however wealthy you are, however much money you have, you can't just thrive on your own. So I want to see a nation that is very united, people that collaborate a lot, and then also people that are willing to learn, people that are willing to like research a lot. Because the reason as to why we're still at baby steps is we're not putting in the research. We absolutely not. Because you feel like you are amazing at your job here locally until you have to get on that plane to go somewhere. You know, you could be the biggest editor here, the biggest photographer, but when you get on that plane and you go to Paris and you go to New York and you see how people are doing things, that's when you're like, reality check. Reality check. I need to, invest in learning a lot. So let's invest in learning a lot, more collaborations, and also us having a council, us having a union that is not going to be for selfish reasons. I've seen people that try to create them for selfish reasons, but then a union that will stand up for, you know, for people in fashion here.
It's such a tricky conversation, that one about the union, because, you know, you'll come with very, you know, pure intentions, and you're like, oh, we want to do this thing for the greater good of the industry, blah, blah, blah. And then the potential for like a little bit of funding comes in, and people have their necks.
Yeah.
And
that is why, honestly, me at the moment, I am not even engaging myself in any of the unions here. Any union that is coming up with, oh my God, I won't mention them, but I am not. I'm absolutely not. Until something legit, something that I feel like has like the best interest, you know, and then standardized, that's the word. Then I will gladly say, you know what? I'm giving you my time, but for now, no.
I was recently venting online about the fact that there are some pillars that just walked away from their position as pillars in the industry.
They got tired.
And it's like, I get it. You know, you may feel like, okay, I want to do more, I want to do something different, but like pass the baton to someone else, so that, because things like the Met Gala they didn't start and end with a person.
Sure.
They didn't, you know, things like Fashion Week of, you know, whichever city that you're pointing at, they don't start and end with a person. So if a person walks away, the structure should still remain. And I feel like it's something that is holding us back.
Sure.
Because, for example, if so-and-so leaves and no longer does this award show, we don't have a fashion award show, then you're going to reach and you're like, okay, so where do the people get their flowers from? Someone else will be like, okay, let me start mine. But like you just starting yours,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's no legitimacy, there's no, you know, that hold that you've already built. And I don't know, like I feel like you're one of the last like bigger pillars, because in the modeling world, at least we know that, okay, this works. So it's like, Joram, when you get tired, don't just bail up, close shop, and then leave us in lights, please.
I tell you, I'm only going to rest when I get to my grave. To be honest, I'm only resting when I die. For now, as long as I still have breath and the energy,
and still, even if that day comes, there should still, like, the name should continue.
Definitely, the legacy has to, you know, keep going. But it still goes back to the current generation empowering the generation that is coming after us. Let's be realistic, because that is why I'm so thankful, very, very thankful, and I say this the whole time. Thank you so much, Sylvia Owori. Honestly, Sylvia Owori made me the person that I am right now. I keep thanking her the whole time. Every time I met her, I keep thanking her the whole time. Why? Because at once upon a time, Sylvia Owori was holding the entire fashion industry and modeling industry, literally single-handedly. Yes, there were other agencies and then all that, but she really pushed this industry to that level of, oh my God, fashion exists in Uganda, modeling exists in Uganda. And I'm so grateful that she taught me so much. Just me working with her at the Forever Love fashion show, and then also her pushing me to meet all these other people that I met during the time I was with her. I'm so grateful. Like she literally passed the baton to me. That is why every time I feel like giving up, I'm like, oh my God, the godmother of fashion is going to be so mad that I get her. The godmother of fashion is going to be so mad that, you know, I'm not doing this. And she's always encouraging me also, that, you know, the whole time. So it goes back to, you know, us, the current generation, mentoring the generation that is going to come after us. And honestly, that's what we're doing right now.
Okay. Thank you, Joram, for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
An amazing conversation. I've learned so much.
Amazing time. I've also learned so much from you. Absolutely, so much. It was like a whole masterclass for me.
Okay. See you next time on Satisfaction UGTV.